Psalms. Start reading the Psalms, because a lot of things are going on in this world today. You know, we talk about, or we've heard about the coronaviruses, earthquakes in diverse places, various things that are going on. So before I go to Psalms, I just want to read over in Matthew 24 that actually gives us some insight into why some of these or all of these things are happening. So let's go to Matthew chapter 24, and we can read from there. So we're going to be starting from Matthew 24, and let's start with verse 1. This is the signs of the end of this age. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when these things shall be. When shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So the disciples even then asked, what shall be the sign of you coming and the sign of the end of the world? So they asked him this question. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. So the first thing Jesus wanted them to be aware of is people will come to deceive you. But first of all, let me tell you about the end, but don't let anybody deceive you. Verse 5, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So people have come and said that they are Christ, but he said they shall deceive many. So verse 6 is what I want to get to. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these things are the beginning of sorrow. So the disciples clearly asked Jesus, okay, what shall be the end of the world? How can we know? What are the signs? And Jesus clearly outlined some of the things. And we see a lot of these things taking place today. Because, of course, a couple of months ago when the president had killed the military leader in Iran, people were really up in arms because they were talking about, oh, it's going to be World War III. And, you know, you heard wars and rumors of wars. But Jesus says, see that ye be not troubled. So he was like, don't be troubled. Even in John 14, the Bible tells us, let not our hearts be troubled. In other words, don't let your emotions get involved. So he said, don't let your heart be troubled, because even for us as Christians, we should react differently when we hear these things. We shouldn't react like we don't know or we have no idea of what's coming. Because if we are connected to God and know what Jesus Christ has done for us and read our word, none of this should take us by surprise, because it's all written in the book. But he says, you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. So these things are going to come to pass. Whether this is the beginning of the end or the end, they're going to come to pass. But he said, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences. Now we know that there's been famines communicated throughout all history, And there have been things that happen, diseases and different things. But this coronavirus has been very serious. And we've heard like different leaks and things coming in from China saying that it's one thing. We've been hearing one thing on the outside, but it's, been leaked from China that is far worse than what we think. But the thing is, when we hear about those things, we shouldn't let our hearts be troubled, because guess who's still in control? Jesus is. So we shouldn't be reacting in a way that we have no idea of what's coming, because he said these things will happen as we see the end times approaching. And all these things are the beginning of sorrows. So what I wanted to really go into, and one of my points of tonight will be, don't let your heart be troubled. Because just as clearly as Christ has given us the signs of what the end would look like, we have an advantage because we know what those signs are. But let me take you to Psalms 91. Psalms 91 blesses my heart so, because this is a great place to start as it relates to things that are happening. But look how we are protected in God's kingdom. So Psalms 91 says, he that dwelleth, verse 1, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Now look at that. He that dwelleth in the secret place. What does the word dwell mean? The word dwells mean that you abiding in a place. Dwelling is not just popping in and popping out. Dwelling is abiding in the secret place of the Most High. It says, shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Now, when you dwell in the secret place of the Most High, question is, what is the secret place? Think about it. When you get your time with God and you have a relationship with him, you connect with God in your secret closet, in the place that only you and him connect. You stay there and abide there and dwell there for some time until you feel his presence, until he ministers to you when you give him what you communicate to him what you may be asking for, and then allow him to communicate with you through meditation and staying there, not just praying and then getting up and go, but staying until you know that God is giving you a word and you feel his presence and you feel the anointing of God, that you can hear his voice in that secret place. But he said, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Verse 2, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. So God is saying he is your refuge. So no matter what the signs are of the times, he's given us fortification as it relates to not letting your heart be troubled. Why? Because he is your refuge. He is your fortress. He said, my God, in him will I trust. Now, if you know the word and you trust God to take you through anything that may come upon the earth, his word is true. His word is powerful. His word is active. The only thing we have to do is get in his word. Because in Hosea 4:6 says, we are destroyed, or we perish, or we are ruined because of a lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge of what? His word. His word has everything we need to be comforted. His word has everything we need to be fortified. His word has everything we need to live an abundant life. His word has everything we need to be delivered from anything that may be ailing you. His word is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. In other words, his word guides you. So let's keep reading Psalms 91. He said, verse 3, surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Now look at, even in Matthew 24, how it was talking about the end times pestilence in various places. But look at what the word says. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. So he will deliver us no matter what's going on around us. Verse 4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. My God. So you don't have anything to worry about if your trust is in the Lord. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. What is his truth? His truth is the word. Oh, and it's so awesome to know what his word says, because we don't have to be in panic like the world is. Why? Because we know his truth. We know what his word says. Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday. So he's covered all the times of day. He covered the terrors by night, the arrows that come by day, and even the pestilence and destruction at noonday. So he's covered all the bases that you shouldn't even worry about. So he said also in verse 7, 1,000 shall fall by thy side, and 10,000 at thy right side, but it shall not come nigh thee. And I use this a lot, and it doesn't. It's like that could be anything. People can be getting sick around you at work, and I usually say, listen, I rebuke that. It will not come nigh my dwelling place. Because guess what? He's already given me comfort through his word. Though 1,000 fall at my side and 10,000 at my right side, but it shall not come nigh me. Now, why do I have to worry when God has already told me what I got to look forward to in his word? That is so exciting to me, and it should be exciting to you. He said in verse 8, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even his most high, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. So when you know who you are, and you can